Alright, let's write another line graph. This one is from IELTS Academic 15. As usual, we need to spend some time on the statement to understand it. The graph below shows the number of tourists visiting a particular Caribbean island between 2010 and 2017. So it's about the number of tourists and it's about the past, both in 2010 and 2017. As you know, the instruction is always the same in writing task 1. We need to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. It means we cannot report every single point and also make comparisons where relevant. Now, step 2 is to spend some time on the data to understand it. Again, I've mentioned this before. At this stage, don't think too much about vocabulary. Just simply say up and down for changes, and later you can think about the words. So here we have 3 trends. Visitors staying on cruise ships. So 2010 to 2011 went up, and then in 2012 again down, and from 2012 to 2017 it continued to grow. Overall, this was an upward trend. Next one, visitors staying on island. This one also went up. It fluctuated and went up. 2010 to 2011 the same. 2011 to 2013 went up. 2013 to 2015 stayed the same. 2016 dipped, and again 2017 rebounded or went up again. The last one for total, overall upward trend. From 2010 to 2015 it went up. In 2016 it remained the same or reached a plateau, and 2016 to 2017 again it went up. Overall, an upward trend. Now, for the overview, I'll mention total first because this is the most important one, the upward trend of that. And then I will mention this point in 2016 that is considered as an important change because, let's say, visitors staying on cruise ships surpassed visitors staying on island. I mean, the number of those visitors overtook the number of visitors staying on island. So this is an important point, and I will mention that in the overview. But if you just mention all of them went up, or let's say fluctuated, that also would be enough. But you know that in the overview we should be specific. Now, step 3 is to write, and the first thing we write as usual is the paraphrase. This is my paraphrase. The graph illustrates how many tourists visited a Caribbean island from 2010 to 2017. As usual, I deleted below because there is nothing below my writing. Instead of shows, I used illustrates. And instead of the number of tourists visiting, I used how many tourists visited, and I didn't touch the rest. So this is my model answer. We just read the paraphrase. Let's read the overview. Again, I said I will mention the overall trend and then the change in 2016. Overall, there was an upward trend in the total number of tourists. There was a turning point in 2016 when more visitors opted to stay on cruise ships than on the island. Now, I'll start mentioning visitors staying on cruise ships. I will describe the data and then move on to the next and to the third one. In 2010, the island welcomed a modest count of 0.25 million visitors who chose cruise ships. Now, 2011. A number that doubled to 500,000 in 2011. Now, I will mention the change in 2012 and then I will group the last part. After a slight decline in 2012, it grew consistently in the subsequent years, peaking at 2 million visitors in 2017. Remember, we cannot mention every single point. That's why I grouped 2013 to 2016. Now, the second category, visitors staying on island. On the other hand, 2010 recorded 0.75 million visitors who stayed on the island, which remained constant in 2011. Now, 2012. Subsequently, there was an increase in 2012 to 1.25 million, and then I'll group 2013 to 2015, followed by a continuous rise in 2013 with 1.5 million tourists, which persisted for the next 2 years. And now the last 2 years that are grouped. Despite the decline in 2016, this number rebounded to 1.5 million in 2017. And now the last category, total, all grouped 2010 to 2014. The total number of tourists saw a substantial increase from 1 million in 2010 to 2.5 million in 2014. And now I'll mention 2015 and 2016. After that, the growth rate gradually rose to 2.75 million in 2015 and then remained steady in 2016 and finally 2017. Finally, the total number reached a peak of 3.5 million in 2017. I organized my essay in 4 paragraphs. In my introduction, I just paraphrased and wrote the overview. In the first body paragraph, I mentioned the first trend. In the second one, I described the second trend. And in the last paragraph, I described the third trend, and I wrote 200 words for this essay. In this slide, you can find the words that I used to describe the changes in red, and also the words that I used to connect my sentences in blue. Alright, hope you found it useful. Have a nice day.